I've been in this service business, if you will, for 15 years. I spent a lot of it on the housing, affordable housing, and on transportation, what I call the expense side of the equation. I didn't start really getting attacked by the media until I started focusing on the income side of the equation. The minute I started focusing on empowering people, helping people succeed, as opposed to saying, hey, we're going to give you a bone, right? We're going to give you, inexpensive and quality affordable housing. We're going to give you inexpensive and quality mass transit. When I started focusing on income, I became a threat.
So what do you do about the OG Floridians who've been here? Now they see prices go up, harder to buy a house, rents going up, and it's all good set of problems, but it is real. And I'm very sensitive to that. When I meet OG Floridians, I'm very thankful because I know that how they changed my life by creating this refuge here. So what do you do in those cases?
It's a tough one for me. I was also born and raised here. So I'm the first mayor of Miami, actually born in Miami. So I'm an OG as well.
Yeah.
And for me, I think it's a few things. One is we have the highest wage growth in America. So we're also, empowering people, not just at the collegiate level. We work with companies like BrainStation, which used to be WinCode, to help people that are adults integrate into this sort of knowledge-based economy. We do things from the kindergarten level all the way through 12th grade. We did a really good collaboration with Miami-Dade College where we created a tech charter school with the college so that kids could get a high-level education for free. So, I mean, look, it's a problem that doesn't have an easy solution. If it did, I would push the button, solve the problem, and move on to the next one, right? Ecosystem building is hard. And even when you think you're succeeding, you see the AI revolution, which has pushed a lot of capital back to the Bay Area, and they've had a bit of a renaissance, right? And it seems like their politics may be shifting from some of the things that you see. I don't know. What do you think?
I'm not very hopeful. I don't think it's hit rock bottom yet, and just too many people have just.
But the bottom line is we've got to empower our residents. I'll tell you this.
So what do you do, like on the housing side?
Let me just tell you this. So I spent the better part. I've been in this service business, if you will, for 15 years. I spent a lot of it on the housing, affordable housing, and on transportation, what I call the expense side of the equation. I didn't start really getting attacked by the media until I started focusing on the income side of the equation. The minute I started focusing on empowering people, helping people succeed, as opposed to saying, hey, we're going to give you a bone, right? We're going to give you, inexpensive and quality affordable housing. We're going to give you inexpensive and quality mass transit. When I started focusing on income, I became a threat. So, because that's fundamentally American. Right? They say, hey, what if you don't need an affordable housing? What if you can afford to live in a house at market or above market, right? How wonderful would that be if you can send your kids to the schools that you want to send them to? And school choice being such a big part of that, right? So I think, certainly on affordable housing, I've done and will continue to do everything I can. The beauty of the way we do it is there's two things. One, and it makes us very different from other cities. We don't believe in rent control. Why? Rent control is a Band-Aid. It makes you feel good. Hey, you're doing something about it. But what happens? When you got to recapitalize that building, a bank won't lend you the money because you can't get the returns for the bank to capitalize it. So look what we saw on Surfside with the building falling. That building needed to be recapitalized. And it wasn't because the residents didn't want at the time to contribute to the capital fund. So, and it was being pushed back. And then we had a catastrophe. That's changed everything about the way we look at this capitalization issue. And then I think it's hard to get new product because what bank will lend if there's restrictions on what income can be earned? So you have supply issues. And then when you have supply issues, you have situations in some of these cities where a building basically ages out. And then they get emptied out because it is a life safety issue. So you have to empty the building. So you're taking supply off the rolls. We have a 10x growth horizon. So one of the things we want to do is continue to grow and just grow more efficiently, make sure that we can efficiently process permits and things like that. And then the second piece is using some available funds. We do believe in doing private-public partnerships to build affordable housing, where we get a leverage rate of approximately, prior to this interest rate increase in inflationary environment that President Biden has given us. We were being—
You mean it wasn't the Inflation Reduction Act?
I haven't seen a penny of that money yet, right? Yeah. We actually we're getting a 20-to-1 leverage rate on the dollar that we would invest in a private-public partnership on affordable housing. My guess is with rising rates, that number will come down to about 10 to 1. It's still significant. Still means you're getting $10 for every dollar you invest on a project. So we're looking at a variety of ways. We have something called the Miami Forever Bond, $100 million of which is dedicated to affordable housing. That's a self-imposed tax that residents decided they voted on to tax themselves on resiliency and on affordable housing and on cultural facilities. So we're going to continue to do that. But yeah, look, it's a real issue going forward.
And what do you do on the infrastructure side of that, just in terms of roads and everything else? Because that's the main one.
Yeah.
I hear the original people complaining about. There's just a lot more cars here. Again, function of success, but something that needs to be done.
There's two pieces of it. One of it is as you densify, traffic increases. And then there's a resiliency piece. We are in a place where we do get hit with hurricanes. Mm-hmm. We do have what they call dry day flooding 2 times a year when you have certain tides. And you have what's called rain bombs, which are, rain events that seem to overwhelm the capacity system. So, everything we've studied and learned is that for every dollar that you invest prophylactically, you save $7 to $8. So it's a good business case on investing on resiliency. And we're doing that. And we're seeing other parts of the state of Florida with the insurance crisis, right? Where because they're not as resilient as Miami is, when a big hurricane comes, it just decimates the entire city. Miami post Hurricane Andrew, we sort of learned our lesson where some southern cities were decimated, like Florida City and Homestead. And so we changed our building codes. We built things as bunkers. And so under my tenure, we've actually reduced flood premiums by 8%. We were actually downgraded as a flood risk because of our investment. So that's on the flood side. On the traffic side, to be perfectly frank, I think we have been putting lipstick on a pig in terms of transportation solutions. We've been focusing on rail and what they call bus rapid transit, which they put these little things on buses and they call them bus rapid transit. It's really not a real technology. And I think we've got to start thinking more Jetson-like, and urban air mobility. All right. What Elon is doing with the Boring Company, which is underground tunneling, which is much less expensive. If you look at New York, for example, I think it's 2nd Avenue line, if I'm not mistaken, was built at a $2 billion a mile cost. Elon is building underground tunneling at $10 million a mile.
Wow.
So the guy who runs Boring Company is a guy named Steve Davis, brilliant guy. They're doing stuff in Las Vegas. And we're doing some geotesting to make sure that our limestone subsoil can handle it. But I think those are you got to think outside of the box. It's a lot less expensive. The problem with transportation is that it's infrastructure intensive and it's money intensive, right? And so if you can disrupt those solutions with things that are faster to implement and a lot cheaper and effective, you're solving the problem for a much more efficient way.
And we have a pretty good state government here that I assume helps you do these things, right? I mean, even the fact that we got the Brightline to work in this state when California has poured billions of dollars into a railroad that I don't think any track has been laid.
And the beauty of Brightline is that it's almost all private sector. I mean, we put some public sector money into it in the station to connect Tri-Rail, which is another line with our downtown station, but it's almost all completely privately financed. Yes, I think certainly this administration has been better than the rest. I still think that state government, generally speaking, has a long way to go in terms of being innovative and being responsive to local issues.
If you're looking for more honest and thoughtful conversations about politics instead of nonstop screaming, check out our politics playlist. And if you want to watch full interviews on a variety of topics, watch our full episode playlist, all right over here. And to get notified of all future videos, be sure to subscribe and click the notification bell.